Peace, we're back. Street 16 Podcast. Mike Barclift, Ebony Mystique Williams, EMW, the first of her name, and Byron Wilson Bay. And I left off talking about what is something that you've done that you wouldn't want your kids to know. Now, I wrote a book, Voiceless, The Journal of an Underground Starving Artist. It's available on Amazon, BarnesandNobles.com, and everywhere you buy books. I wrote a lot about my life growing up. One of the things that I cringe when I think about my children reading is something that we did as a youth called boogieing. Boogieing. Anybody know what boogieing was?
No.
In Brooklyn, sometimes we would hop on the back of the bus, the outside of the bus, where the back of the grid is, and hang on with our feet dangling off the middle. And we would just hold on and ride the bus all the way up to Canarsie. I would never want these knucklehead teenagers of mine to really know that I did that, because, it's just reckless, it's dangerous, and it's pretty bum. It's a bum way to travel. It's like, yo, come on, you can't do nothing better than that. Like, I am not proud of that at all, man. Now, B, you don't have any children.
No.
All right, so it's a different scenario for you. But Eb is Mother of the Year, 2-time defending champion. So what would you not want your girls to know about? Pause.
Okay.
I could think of that one thing.
I was thinking about that too. I was thinking about that too. But they already know about that, so.
Gotcha.
They were very disappointed.
Yes, as was we all.
Just as a quick synopsis, but my oldest asked me how old I was when I lost my virginity. She's 14 now. So when I told her, she was completely disgusted. And she was like, Ma, how could you do something like that? Were you not thinking about your mom? No.
Who is thinking about that?
Nobody. I was not thinking about my mom. But she already knows about that. So I would say the time that a guy was dating, he had killed somebody and we went on the run for a few months.
I remember that.
Oh, I forgot you was around. Yeah, I wouldn't, because back then I was like Bonnie and Clyde with this guy. I was like, you go, I go, and I was like, you jump, I jump.
Was it fun?
It was fun until ATF kicked in the door. And there was like guns up and the huge flashlights. And I was like, I'm about to die in here. Then I realized, I'm like 18. And I'm about to die in here. So, but yeah, I was really all about that boy. Yeah.
What happened to that boy?
He's in jail right now. He's in jail for conspiracy. He's in prison right now. He should be getting out in about maybe 7 years.
All right.
That's love.
Well, we'll play this clip for him. And we'll play this clip in 8 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so they don't know about that.
They don't know about that.
Now, I happen to know that scenario was also recreated in one of the books you wrote. So have they read the book, or do they have access?
They're not allowed to read my books.
Nice.
Because they're not old enough.
Now, I know a few authors, and you're one of the few that have also said to me, my children are not allowed to read my book.
They're not.
And I've heard that a few times. I haven't put that in place with my family, but only one of my children have read the book. But I think that that's like a reverse psychology. Like, if you tell them not to read it, they're going to read it.
They've asked. I just don't give them access to it.
Yo, girls, holla at your boy at the Street 16 magazine. I'll get you some copies.
The books I write,
plus shipping and handling.
They're very, I write romance novels.
Uh-huh.
So I don't want them reading everything I'm writing.
Right.
And then I write fantasy horror. Some of the things I write is a little dark, and I don't want them reading things that I don't think mentally they can understand or process yet.
Right.
When they get there, I'll let them read it.
Cool.
But just not right now. They probably will never read that book, because I'll publish it I'll publish it under a different name. It won't even be Crystal Knight. It'll be something completely different. They'll never find it.
Crystal Knight.
Yes, that's my pen name.
Right, I remember that. Yes. I like that name.
Yeah.
Crystal and Knight. All right, cool. All right, good. That was a good answer, Eb. You did really good today.
I can't believe you remember that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too many friends that went on the road after, being wanted for homicide by the feds. I don't know too many friends have done that.
I'm surprised I didn't get in trouble for that. He must have took
Let's not say that. Just accept the fact that you're here now. And let's not talk about this again.
Gotcha.
Rule number 1 of Fight Club is...
Yes. Kids, don't do what I do.
No, not at all. Yo, B, you got anything? I know you don't have children, but anything that you want to grab just to add on before we shut it down?
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. So look, this was a good show, you guys. I do want to close with some more remarks about sports. Football, America's religion. Now I'll just put it out there, man. I see people celebrating on Twitter Victory Monday and all that stuff, and I think it's pathetic. I do think it's pathetic to give your emotions over to something so meaningless, trivial, questionable, and maybe orchestrated as football. When I see people dancing and celebrating because their team has won, I think it looks sad to me. It's not sad that you're happy. It's what makes you happy that saddens me. That you've merged your pleasure centers with the imagery of a football team, which is a televised gladiator sport. Your emotions are so intertwined with a certain pattern of colors or designs that are worn on a jersey that your glands, which regulate the balance of your hormones and chemical levels, secrete fluids when you're watching highlights. Basically, football can make you cum in your glands. But realize this, if you're a Cowboys fan and you've attached your pleasure centers to the Cowboy uniform and someone photoshopped the images so that the Cowboys uniforms were switched with the opponent's uniforms and you didn't know that, you could watch your team lose and still secrete the same fluids. It's because your subconscious mind, which communicates through symbols, associates the Cowboy symbols with joy. Now, the danger is once a brand or corporation can convince your subconscious mind to equate their symbol with joy, how much power do you think is being transferred from you to them? Even if it was a morally responsible, fair-minded, and justly run business, which the NFL is not, I don't think it is a good idea to give away that much of your power. Imagine if when you were a 5th grader, some wealthy old Texas oil man walked up to you with a cane and a shot of Jack and said, "Hey, little girl, give me control over your glands and your endocrine system." No one would find that appealing, not even his wife or his mistresses. And that's just the quote-unquote good side. That's what happened when your team wins, like the Cowboys did when you was little. Not to mention, many of these signs and symbols are our symbols, meaning African, Egyptian, Kemetic, occult symbols that already have energy attached to them. For example, the Dallas Cowboys 5-pointed star symbolizes man, God, Christ, arm, leg, arm, head, and a various other number of deities. The CBS eye is the eye of Horus, the third eye, and the pineal gland. Now, why do you think they choose symbols like this? Is it just random? Or is it because they know? I mean, the Oakland, Los Angeles, Vegas Raiders have a pirate with one eye covered, which is another occult symbology of the third eye, pineal gland or psychic center. The New England Patriots have a 5-pointed star situated in the middle of their mascot's forehead. The Texans have a 5-pointed star on the right upper quadrant of their logo in the exact spot where your eye would be. And the Tennessee Titans have 3 5-pointed stars on their logo. And the Titans in mythology were the beings that battled the gods and were crushed into powder, which was sprinkled down to earth to form intelligent life. Some people believe that powder is melanin, and the Titans are you. Even if you are not familiar with any of these popular symbols in the NFL, you see them every day, and your subconscious mind knows about them. It remembers what they mean, and it can react. If you took your Bible and opened to Matthew chapter 6, verse 22, Jesus says, "The lamp of the body is the eye. If then your eye is single, your whole body will be bright." A single eye, quoted by Jesus, Yeshua, for what? This is just scratching the surface. But after hearing this, I would want to know more about what happens when you give control of your other emotional centers, the ones you feel when your team loses, the anger, the depression, the hopelessness. Are you willing to give away the possession of your glands that control anger, depression, and hopelessness to the NFL corporate organizations? See what happens when your team lose if you was to put a camera on all the beer drinking dads on Sunday in the living room or in the bar when their team lose. They get angry, they scare the wife, they scare the dogs, they throw things, they fight, they yell. How is this good for us? We're going to talk about that next time on the Street 16 podcast. For all my co-panelists, Jeff McCoy, Marco Valencia, Ebony Mystique Williams, first of her name, Byron Wilson Bay, I'm Michael Barclift, signing off for the Street 16 podcast. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.